Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am Snack. This is my body double Mac, and yeah, in the UFC, that's how they recognize us. Guys, we are going. We are. Oh, real quick before we get into it, look, he had his head. We didn't talk about that. So just a funny story about 2.5 weeks ago. When you seen it, my hair was like super out of control. I couldn't take it no more, so I gave myself a mullet. I'll post some pictures later.
It looked good.
It looked good.
You kept it for a couple days.
A couple days, and then I just had to go. And then Zach messages me, and he's like, "Look,
Yeah.
he couldn't take it no more."
I couldn't take it on the ears anymore.
Oh man!
So I gave myself a mullet, but then I was like, no, I can't rock this like Solo did, so I shaved it all off.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah. So hey, thank you for sticking with us all week. We truly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hit that bell. All right, into the meat of the class. We are going to
Finish up.
with our Perry theory, and you'll notice in this episode we're going to be using some stuff, a lot of stuff, matter of fact, that we've talked about previously in the past. So if you don't know exactly what we're talking about, just go back and watch our previous videos. And
yeah, starting next week, we'll go into that next theory of defense, talking about slips.
Yep.
There's just one more thing we got to talk about when we're talking about parrying, deflection, and we're going to use some of that blocking theory in with this parry theory to finish up. Today what we're talking about is slicing. So whether we're slicing up or slicing down on punches that are coming at us. And we're going to talk a lot about the jab and the cross. And then we're also going to talk today, which we haven't touched on a whole lot yet, is punches that are coming to the body.
Yes.
Okay?
So before I forget, which I just had a brain fart, all these defensive theories they support each other. You can't have one without the other. So that's very important for you guys to understand that. Okay, and also there's applications in terms of distance and how they should be used, and that's going to come later down the road. I just had to get that off my head. All right, down to slicing punches. We're in a fighting stance, right? In this case, the distance is not that important. Okay, what is important is that you identify the right strike, and slicing really attacks straight punches, just like your basic parries. It's the same thing. The only difference is you're going to have your helmet on. So my defense is going to be up nice and tight.
Just like we talked about blocking.
Yep. Just like a normal block, except when he throws his jab, in this case, when it comes out, I'm going to attack that with my elbow. And I'm going to create that ramp over my head. Now, in the first segment in blocking, we were stepping in, suffocating it. Then we went to parries, which was popping it down. We're going to combine those two techniques, and it's going to create a slice. So when he throws a jab at me, I slide it up. He throws a jab at me, I slide it up. He throws a jab at me, I slide it up.
Same thing with the cross?
Same thing with the cross. When the cross comes, I slide it up. I slide it up. Timing is critical. Distance, timing, reaction. We talk about that all the time. Timing is critical in this matter.
So yeah, once you get that skill set to where you can block effectively and parry, you certainly get that timing, build that experience to where then you can start slicing up.
Yep.
We can also talk about body punches.
Yes.
So man, some souls really good at slicing down.
Yeah.
You got to set it. If you're sparring a soul, you really got to set up the body punches. Because if you start to go for it and he sees it coming, your wrist, thumb, whatever area ain't going to feel too good.
Yeah, years of boxing. Shout out to UCC, Hugo, Tony Jr., all those guys who just used to beat me up on a daily basis back when we were kids. So how do I attack the body? Or how do I defend the body? If I see that body shot coming, okay, I'm going to attack it with the elbow going down. And what that does is, I try to get my elbow in between his location and his fist. So when it comes in here, my elbow's gonna hit, and it's gonna deflect that punch out. So in somewhat real speed, I'm touching, boom, I'm just rocking down. Now notice, it's down and up. I'm not doing this. I'm not coming and doing that.
See the hand?
Yeah, this is
bad.
This is a no-no. There's way too much.
He's keeping his wrist over his knee or over his elbow, and it's staying right in that line. that vertical line is formed.
It's a card piece.
Another thing too, notice he's really scrunching. It's going to help absorb that punch if it does come, and it's making that movement of his arm much smaller. If you're super upright, you see a body punch coming, you don't condense down, and you move your arm down. Again, you're pretty vulnerable. But if you scrunch down with that as you block, you can kind of keep your hand protecting your head as well, just in case that punch came up, you made a mistake or something.
You understand, when it comes to the body, I don't need to be exactly on the liver to do that damage. If I can get in between that floating rib, if I can get underneath that floating rib, it's a bad knife.
This really plays into the concept of taking tools out of your opponent's toolbox and just chucking them away, right? So a lot of times people, they're so focused on like, oh, what combination, what combo, what strikes are going to win me this fight. It's not always about offense. Sometimes if you can take something that someone is really good at doing effectively and deter them from doing it to you, then that's going to really help you out. Say you're fighting a Lineker type guy that is going to come in and start ripping body shots, and you slice down on a couple of those, he's going to not throw body shots too much anymore, and then now other things are going to start working for you because you took that major tool out of his toolbox.
Yeah, think of what a check does to someone who likes to throw low kicks. Uriah Faber got destroyed by holding all those low kicks. Go back and watch fights after that fight. He 1 or 2 checks, and he stopped kicking for the remainder of his career. He didn't have another fight like that.
Right.
So, taking tools away is what we do best.
All right, that wraps up the block parry phases. We'll see you next week when we get into slipping.
Slipping. Thank you guys. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and we are out.